You've been told that dinner is a date.
It isn't. It's an interview, and you're sitting across from the interviewer right now, and most men haven't noticed. Every restaurant date is a controlled environment, same pressure, same social theater, same low-stakes stakes. And within that environment, she is behaving exactly as she would behave in every other controlled environment for the rest of her life. With you, with others, in stress, in comfort, in power. What she does at dinner isn't small talk and wine. It's a behavioral profile. And tonight, we're going to read it. I'm Daniel. This is Silent Genius. Chapter 2. The Situational Read. Episode 1. The Restaurant Test. What she does at dinner reveals everything. Let's begin before the menus even close. She's been handed a menu. She scans it. And what happens in the next 90 seconds will tell you more about this woman than 3 hours of conversation. Watch how she orders. There are 3 primary ordering typologies, and each one maps to a deeper control dynamic that will play out across every significant moment in your relationship. Type 1. The decisive orderer. She reads the menu, she decides. When the waiter arrives, she looks up, makes eye contact, and orders in a complete sentence. No hesitation, no performance of uncertainty. She might even order before you. What this signals? She is comfortable with autonomy. She doesn't wait for social permission to want things. She doesn't use indecision as a form of social currency to appear agreeable. This woman knows her preferences, and she states them. In a relationship context, this means she will ask for what she needs. She will tell you when something bothers her. She will not make you guess, and she will not resent you for not guessing correctly. These are green flags wrapped in the language of a Caesar salad. The flip side, and there is always a flip side, is that this same directness will apply to dissatisfaction. If she is unhappy in the relationship, she will say so. If she wants out, she will communicate it cleanly. Whether that is a feature or a bug depends entirely on what you want from a partnership. Type 2. The deferrer. She scans the menu, she looks at you. What are you getting? Not because she needs help, but because she is using your choice to triangulate her own. She is anchoring her preference to yours. This is not inherently weakness. In some women, this is social grace. She is calibrating, reading the occasion, making sure she doesn't overorder or underorder for the context. Pay attention to whether the deference feels like consideration or like she has no autonomous compass. The tell. Does she eventually land on something she seems genuinely excited about? Or does she just echo your order with slight variation? If she says, "I'll have the same, but with the dressing on the side," she hasn't made a decision. She's made a modification to yours. In relationship terms, this woman's preferences will frequently become your preferences. Early on, that feels like harmony. 2 years in, it creates a dynamic where you're making all the decisions, and she's either quietly fine with them or quietly resentful about them. And you won't know which until the relationship starts to fracture. Type 3. The performative deliberator. She has read the menu, she has made a decision, but she will not communicate it cleanly. She'll sigh, she'll say, "I just can't decide." She'll look to you, she'll look to the waiter, she'll ask what you think she should get. This is not indecision. This is a social ritual designed to create engagement. She wants you to participate in her decision. She wants you to lean in, make a suggestion, feel invested in her choosing. The menu becomes a courtship device. Understand what you're observing. She is practicing low-stakes manipulation. And I mean that in a clinical, not a moral sense. She is engineering your attention. It works beautifully on a first date. It is exhausting on a Tuesday night 3 years into cohabitation. Watch the volume of this performance. A small, charming version of this is a personality feature. A prolonged, attention-consuming version of this is a preview of how she will handle every decision, from which flat to rent to whether to... The menu closes. The order is placed. And now, she puts her phone somewhere. Where? This is not trivial. Phone placement is one of the most honest behavioral signals you will encounter on a date, precisely because most people don't think of it as a signal at all. It's just where they put their phone. That's exactly why it's useful. Placement A. Face down on the table. She is present, mostly. The phone is accessible. She hasn't put it away, which means part of her attention is still tethered to whatever might come in. But she has flipped the screen, signaling that she doesn't want you to see her notifications. This is the most common placement. It means she's trying to be polite, but hasn't fully committed to the evening as a phone-free space. Note whether she checks it. 1 check in 2 hours is human. 3 checks in the first 30 minutes is a data point. Placement B. Face up on the table. She is not hiding her screen. Either she has nothing to hide, or she wants you to believe she has nothing to hide, which is a different thing. The tell is what she does when a notification arrives. Does she flip it? Does she glance and return to you seamlessly? Her reaction to a visible notification tells you how she handles transparency. Placement C. In her bag or pocket. She has physically separated herself from the device. She has made a decision, conscious or habitual, to be present. This is rare, and if it happens genuinely, it is a significant signal. It means she considers this evening worthy of her full attention. Either way, you're getting more of her than most men get. The waiter approaches. Pay attention to how she treats this person. This is, in my assessment, the most reliable long-term predictor in the entire restaurant date sequence. Because here is the thing about how people treat service workers. It costs them nothing to be kind. The waiter cannot hurt them. The waiter is, in the architecture of social power, invisible. And how someone behaves when the other person is invisible, that is who they are. The warm acknowledger. Makes eye contact, says please and thank you as a reflex, treats the interaction as human exchange. This woman has not compartmentalized her empathy. She extends it to people who don't benefit her socially. In 2 years, she will extend it to your family members she doesn't particularly like. She is a fundamentally decent person. The efficient transactor. Not rude, not warm, gives her order clearly. The question is whether she distinguishes between people based on social utility. If she treats the waiter the same way she treats your boss, that's character. If she treats your boss warmly and the waiter like a vending machine, that's social calculation. The demanding one. Sends the drink back, asks for modifications, seems faintly irritated. This woman has a hierarchy in her head. The urgent question is where she will eventually place you. Right now, you are high in her hierarchy because you are new, and she is performing. Wait. Notice how long the performance holds. You are watching a preview. The performative flirt, overly warm to the waiter in a way that seems designed to be observed, particularly if it intensifies when she thinks you're looking. She is calibrating your response. She wants to see if you get jealous, if you go quiet, if you try harder. This is not a crime, but it is information. She is already using triangulation as a tool, and you're 40.
I want to go back to the menu.
Because I underplayed it earlier. Most men watch the ordering event. I'm asking you to watch the menu study, the 2 to 5 minutes before the order when she is scanning the options. Price sensitivity. Does she gravitate immediately to the middle of the page? People avoid the cheapest options because they seem low status, and avoid the most expensive because they don't want to appear to be taking advantage. The middle is safe, agreeable, non-committal. Now, does she look at the right side of the page before the left? In most Western menus, the price is on the right. Eye-tracking research shows that price-conscious diners scan right first. It is not a flaw, it is practical intelligence. But if she seems to visibly recalibrate her choice based on price, particularly if she mentions the price, she is either genuinely budget-conscious or she is doing financial signaling. Financial signaling in a dating context means she is communicating something about how money should work between the two of you. She is either being relatable or she is testing whether you'll offer to cover the difference between what she wants and what she thinks she should want. Adventurousness. Does she order something she's never had before? Does she ask the waiter what they recommend and then actually take the recommendation? Or does she default to the safest, most recognizable item on the menu, the thing that cannot surprise her? This maps directly onto how she handles novelty in a relationship. Women who are genuinely curious and adventurous with food tend to be curious and adventurous with experience. They lean into discomfort. They try things. Women who use restaurants as comfort rather than exploration will use relationships the same way. There is nothing wrong with this, but know what you're entering. Dietary signaling. She mentions that she's gluten-free, dairy-free, mostly plant-based, intermittent fasting. These are not inherently meaningful. They become meaningful in the context of how she holds the information. If she mentions a dietary restriction once, clearly, and moves on, it's just logistical information. If she explains the restriction in detail, recounts her health journey, or uses it as a topic to sustain across the meal, she has organized part of her identity around this restriction. This is a person who wants you to understand a specific version of herself. This pattern will apply to other domains too: her exercise routine, her sleep schedule, her communication style. She may be more rigid than she appears. The food arrives. The practical performances are over. Now it is just the two of you across a table in conversation. And what she does with her eyes is its own language. Sustained, regulated eye contact. She looks at you when she speaks. She looks at you when you speak. She breaks occasionally, downward to her food, sideways in thought. But the default vector of her gaze is you. Notice the quality of the breaks. Downward breaks indicate she is processing, going internal. Rightward breaks indicate she is accessing memory or reasoning. Leftward breaks suggest emotional processing. Upward breaks suggest she is constructing something, a response, an image, a story. Room scanning. She is mid-conversation with you, and her eyes move to a table across the room, or to the bar, or to the door when someone enters. A single, brief scan is ambient awareness. Multiple scans or sustained looking elsewhere while you are speaking is something different. She is not present. Her attention is still tethered to something external. How she handles this is the more important data point. Does she course correct, return to you, make a visible effort to re-engage? Or does she normalize the distance, the prolonged hold? She is looking at you while you talk, and she doesn't look away when a natural break would permit it. The eye contact extends a beat, 2 beats, past the socially expected exit point. This is a signal of heightened interest. She is in a moment of active assessment, and she has dropped the social scaffolding that usually manages these moments. If she does this and then smiles, she has made a positive decision. If she looks away with a certain downward angle, she is managing a feeling she doesn't want you to see.